Hello students, today we'll start with the new topic, that is autonomous nervous system, ANS. Now this nervous system controls the internal environment or working of visceral organs. It gives response to the internal receptor and it is involuntary except maturation. Autonomous nervous system consists of motor nerve fibers. Then on the basis of location of ganglions, autonomous nervous system is divided into two types. First one is the sympathetic nervous system. Second one is the parasympathetic nervous system. Now first one we shall see that the sympathetic nervous system. Now this is the figure. Can you see the figure? This is sympathetic nervous system starting from the brain, spinal cord, sympathetic trunk and the solar plexus. These are the veins, and the veins they supply or they are located to the iris, heart, lungs, stomach, pancreas, adrenal glands, large intestine and bladder. Now sympathetic nervous system, it is formed of 22 pairs of sympathetic ganglia. These are the ganglia. They are arranged in two sympathetic cords running on either side of the vertebral column. Now this is the vertebral column and these are the ganglia which are running across the vertebral column. They are connected to the central nervous system by spinal nerves. Now this is the central nervous system. They are connected by the spinal nerves. These are the spinal nerves, spinal cord. This system works during the stress, pain, anger, fear or emergency, fight, flight or fright. Then it secretes adrenaline or noradrenaline as emergency hormones. Now sympathetic nervous system, in this they secrete adrenaline or noradrenaline as an emergency hormone. The next is parasympathetic nervous system. Now this figure you can see again, parasympathetic nervous system. It consists of nerve fibers. Now you can see these nerve fibers. Some of the cranial nerves are also there. Parasympathetic ganglia present on either side of the visceral organs. Now these are present on either side of the visceral organs like heart. This one heart you can see, lungs, muscles, stomach, kidney and parasympathetic fibers. Now these are the fibers you can see. Then this system releases acetylcholine. Parasympathetic nervous system releases acetylcholine, which acts as a neurotransmitter as well as inhibitor of visceral organs. This system works during rest and bring about relaxation, comfort and pleasure. Now this is the difference between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Now this is the diagram. You can see in this diagram, parasympathetic nervous system. First they go to the eyeball, it stimulates flow of saliva, then again slows heartbeat, then contracts bronchi, stimulates peristalsis and secretion, stimulates release of bile, contracts bladder. These are the functions of parasympathetic. Then here sympathetic, again there are some functions. You can see in the figure it is clearly denoted. Now this dilates to the pupil, inhibit flow of saliva, accelerates heartbeat, dilates bronchi, inhibits peristalsis and secretion, conversion of glycogen to glucose, secretion of adrenaline and noradrenaline, and this inhibits bladder contraction. Now this is the difference between the parasympathetic and sympathetic. Next we have receptors. Now what is this receptors? These are the specialized cells, tissues or organs of the body which are able to receive different stimuli. Receptors are specialized cells, tissues or organs of the body which are able to receive different stimuli. They are grouped as exteroceptors and interoceptors. Exteroceptors are somatic, receive stimuli directly from the external environment. Interoceptors or visceral receptors are present inside the body and respond to the internal changes. Now here it is a small diagram, table which shows the type, location and function of exteroceptors. Now these are the different types of exteroceptors. First one is the mechanoreceptor. Location is touch corpuscles of skin. What is the function of this mechanoreceptor? Sensitive to touch. Then you have pressure, free nerve tactile receptors for touch, ending tachoreceptor for pressure. Second one is the thermoreceptors, that is skin. They are located in the skin. Function is sensitive to temperature, predigoreceptors for cold, heat receptors for warm. Third one is the chemoreceptors. These are the taste buds of gustatoreceptors, olfactory mucosa, that is for tongue, olfactoreceptor for sense of smell. Fourth one is the statoacoustic receptors. They are present in the internal ear. Function is in the cochlea, that is hearing, and semicircular canals for balance and equilibrium. Fifth and the last one is the photoreceptors. They are present in the retina of the eye, that is in the eye there are two types of cells are there. First one is the rod cells. They are sensitive to the dim light. Black and white images cones are there. Then bright light and color images. Now next one is the interoceptors. Now here again a little table about that interoceptors. Type proprioceptors, located in the muscles joint. Function is sensation of pain, tension, sensitive to vibration. Second one is enteroceptors, location is visceral organs. Function is hunger, thirst, pain, temperature, pH, osmotic change, etc. Third one is the baroreceptors, located in the wall of carotid. Function is sensitive to changes in the body's blood pressure. Then you have the sensory receptors. Now what are these sensory receptors? Homeostasis means constant condition. Homeo means constant, stasis means condition, that is a constant condition. Homeostasis is maintained because of the appropriate responses given by the living organism to changes in the external and internal environment. There are some specialized structures in the body to receive these stimuli. Then the exteroreceptors, they receive stimuli from the external environment. In human, they are mechanoreceptors, thermoreceptors, chemoreceptors, audioreceptors and photoreceptors. The internal changes are detected by the interoreceptors like proprioceptors, exteroceptors and baroreceptors. The sensory organs detect the changes which occur in the environment and send the signals to the central nervous system, where all such inputs are processed and analyzed. This is called as a sensory perception. In this following test, you will learn about the structure and function of the ear and eye. Now we shall study about the eye. Everybody knows that structure of eye, it is a spherical. Okay, here you can see it is a spherical. The pair of eyes are located in the sockets of the skull, known as orbits. Okay. The human eyeball is nearly spherical structure. The wall of it is formed of 3 layers. Now this is the human eye. Okay, human eye. It has 3 layers. Sclera, outermost layer. It is called as a sclera. The outer layer, a dense connective tissue, forms the sclera. So sclera, it is formed of dense connective tissue. Then you have the transparent anterior portion. Now here you can see it is a transparent anterior portion. It is formed a layer which is called as a cornea. The middle layer is called as a choroid. Now this is the middle layer which is called as a choroid, which is bluish in color and contains many blood vessels. So sclera, outermost layer, then it comes in the front, that is a transparent anterior portion called cornea. Then the middle layer is called as a choroid, which is bluish in color, contains many blood vessels. And the posterior, that is the innermost layer. Third region of the layer, it is thin, while the anterior part is thick and it forms the ciliary body. So here this is the ciliary body. Okay. Then this, here you can see the ciliary body. The forward segments of the ciliary body, it is pigmented and opaque, which is called as iris. The former segment, it is coming in this is coming forward, which is pigmented and it is opaque, which is called as iris. Opaque means when you can't see the other side of it, it is called as a opaque, which is visible color portion of the eye. It is visible. Okay. Then a transparent crystalline lens. This is a lens, which is a transparent crystalline lens, which is present anteriorly in position, and it is held by the ciliary body. This ciliary body, both are holding these lenses. Then you have pupil. Okay, this is the pupil here. Can you see this pupil? The aperture surrounded by the iris in front of the lens is called as a pupil. Now this aperture, this is aperture which is holded by the lenses. Okay, it is called as a pupil. Surrounded by iris, holded by the lens, it is called as a pupil. The movement of the pupil is regulated by the muscle fiber of iris. Then you have the innermost layer. Now first layer was sclera, outer layer was sclera, middle was a choroid, and the innermost layer is called as a retina. Can you see this retina here? This is the structure of an eyeball. Innermost layer, it is retina. First layer was sclera, middle layer was choroid, and the inner layer is retina. It consists of 3 sublayers: ganglion cells, bipolar cells, and the photoreceptor cells, which are sensitive to light. Now we shall see the transverse section of retina. You can see this transverse section of retina. In this, 2 types of cells are there. First one is the cone cells. Here you can see the cone cells, and the next one is the rod cells. These are the pigmented cells. These are the bipolar cells. These are the nerve cells, and these are the ganglions. Okay. In the earlier, we have shown that the retina, it has 3 sublayers: ganglion cells, bipolar cells. Okay. Can you see? Last one, earlier slide. Then the photoreceptor cells are of 2 types, which are called as rod cells and cone cells. Now they contain the light sensitive proteins. They are termed as the photopigments. Here photopigments are there. Photoreceptor cells, they contain photopigments. The cones are responsible for the daylight. Cones are responsible for the daylight vision and color vision. And The rods, they are responsible for the dim light, scotopic vision, night vision. Or you can see the dim light. The purple red protein is called as rhodopsin, which is present in the rods. Now here you can see the rod, the color of the rod, you can see it is purple. So this color of the rod, it is purple due to rhodopsin, which is present in the rod, which is a derivative of vitamin A derivative. The cones are of three types. Now these cones are of three types which contain their own characteristics, photopigments that respond to the red, green and blue lights. Various combination of these cones and their photopigments, they produce sensation of different colors. The sensation of white light is produced due to the simultaneous equal stimulation of these three types of cones. Now here you can see optic nerve. Now next part, optic nerve. Here this is the optic nerve. Okay. The optic nerve leaves the eye point slightly away from the median posterior pole of the eyeball. The rods and cones are absent in this region, hence it is known as the black spot. Now here you can see the rods and cones are absent. The rods and cones are present in the retina, this side, innermost layer, from here to here. But this side the rods and cones are absent, which are called as the blind spot. Then now the yellowish spot, the yellowish pigmented spot, which is called as the macula lutea, is present. Now can you see this? Macula lutea, the yellowish pigment. Here it is present, which is called as a macula lutea. Here you can see in this figure, macula lutea, which is present lateral to the blind spot. This is here blind spot, which is here lateral to the blind spot, and with a central pit which is called as a fovea. Here you can see fovea. Here they have shown. This, it is a thinned out portion of the retina where lying only cones. They are densely packed and therefore have greatest visual acuity, that is resolution. Now the aqueous chamber is present space between the cornea and the lens. Now you can see the cornea. This is the cornea. Okay, this is the cornea and this is the lens. Now this is the space between the cornea and lens. It is called as a aqueous chamber, and it is filled with a fluid which is called as a aqueous humor. It contains a thin watery fluid which is known as the aqueous humor. So here the aqueous humor, it is present here, this side, in the anterior chamber. Okay, then the larger space between the lens and the retina. Now this large space here, this is the large space between the lens. Now this is the lens and this is the retina, innermost layer. This is called as a retina. Okay, from here to here, lens to retina, a large space is there. So this is filled with a vitreous chamber. Okay, this vitreous chamber, Okay, so it is filled with a transparent gelatinous fluid which is called as a vitreous humor. This is also called as a vitreous humor. In this figure also you can see space between the lens and the retina. Lens and the retina, it is called as a vitreous humor. The aqueous humor and the vitreous humor, they maintain the shape of the eyeball. Here aqueous humor and here all filled with the vitreous humor. They maintains the shape of the eyeball, which is spherical. Now mechanism of the vision. How does the vision form? Now here is the light. The light rays from the object, it passes through the cornea. This is the cornea. This is the eye. If you see an object, what will happen? the light rays, it passes from here, okay, cornea, and lenses through this lens, and it's focused on the retina. Here, this is the retina, in the innermost layer, it is called as the retina. From cornea to the lens and then to the retina. Then what is present here in the retina? Rods and cones. They contain the photopigments, which are conjugated protein, and they are composed of opsin or protein and retinol, that is vitamin A derivative. Then the light induces dissociation of retinol from the opsin, resulting in change of the opsin. This causes the change in the permeability of the retinal cells. It generates action potential, which is carried from the bipolar cells and ganglion cells and further conducted by the optic nerves to the visual cortex, that is visual center of the brain. Then the neural impulses are analyzed and the image formed on the retina. Now here what will happen? Here in this retina the image is formed, okay, basis which is here image is formed, and which is on the basis of the earlier memories and experiences. The neural impulses are analyzed and image is formed, the retina is recognized. So this is the mechanism of the eyeball. Okay, thank you.